Alright, so in this video I'm going to be walking you through the steps to carve the stars on this American flag. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to measure out this union. So I'm going to measure that out and then show you what to do from there. So the part that I want to carve out looks like it's about 7 by 5.5. Alright, so now I'm over at the computer and I'm going to show you how to make these stars using Carveco Maker. But if you'd like to see it done using Carve Create, the free software, let me know in the comments and I can make a separate tutorial on that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new model, and I already have it typed in, a width of 7 and a height of 5.5. So we're going to create that model. And want to know what's super nice about this? I will be able to scale these stars to any size flag I want. So I'll show you that after I carve this first one up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google, we're just going to search American flag stars. So then we're going to go to the images, and I'm just going to click on this first one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this image, and I'm going to paste this image into Carveco. So there we go, there we have the stars. So we really can't do anything with this right now, so what we have to do is we have to come up here to this button. It says bitmap to vector. So basically this is a bitmap, and then we need vectors to machine. So we'll click that make bitmap. And then what you have to do first is you have to reduce the colors. So this helps the program read the actual lines that you need to trace. Because if you look here, it may not seem like it, but it says there's 255 colors in this image. So we'll reduce those down to 2, we'll hit apply, and then we'll create those vectors. So now all those stars have been traced. So we'll just click off, and we can hide that original image by toggling this light bulb, and only those vectors will be left. So we can snag all these, and it looks like there's something down here we can delete. We can go over those, scale this up, and then if we hit FN9, we'll perfectly center that in the center of the model. And then we'll just keep scaling this up. Alright, so after getting this all centered, you still have all of them selected. So what you want to do is you want to go up here and click this V-bit carving toolpath. So you'll click that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to limit the maximum tool depth to 0.1 of an inch. I found that this works really well for me, and I'm going to show you how to do this again on a bigger flag, but until then we're just going to focus on the small one. So for the carving tool, I'm just going to use a 60-degree V-bit. So I'll select that. None of this really matters. Make sure you define your material for 0.75 inches. So I'll click calculate now. Alrighty, so after calculating all those tool paths, what you can do is you can click this V-bit carving, and you want to go down here to simulate toolpath. So this will give you a 3D preview of what your piece will look like after it's done carving. So that looks pretty good. So now we can save the toolpath. So we'll just click this V-bit carving. We'll click save toolpath. You can just save this. You want to click change spool directory, and then it will prompt you. And then you want to click the USB drive, and then select that folder, and then save that to the USB drive. So click save, and yes. So that's all the work done on the computer. Now I'm going to go over to the CNC, load it up, and carve it. Alright, so now I got the flag clamped down, so I got the flag pushing up against the fence, and then I got a couple scrap pieces of wood with a cam clamp holding everything down. Alright, so now I need to zero X, Y, and Z. So I can't get in here with the touch probe to zero X and Y. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get close as I can in Z to the flag. Then I'm going to hover over where I want the X and Y zero to be. So I want it to be right on that corner. So I'll look forward and back. I might get a little closer. And then just fine tune that. Alright, so now after I got that bit lined up in that bottom left corner, I can just click this little button right here, and that'll zero X, and this one will zero Y. Alright, so now I got the touch probe on there, so I can zero the Z axis. So you want to get that close, and then you click the probe Z option. You come up here, touch that, and you hit continue, and then it will zero the Z axis. Alright, so now I got all the axes zeroed. I've got the bit in, I've got the vacuum loaded up, so now I'm going to run the file, And then after I show you what that looks like, I'll show you how to scale the stars so you can cut any size flag. Alright, so the flag just finished carving, so that looks super sweet. Now I'm going to show you how you can scale that up to a bigger flag. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how you can scale that star carving to carve the stars on a bigger flag like this. So I'm going to show you how to do it on just the blue part because it's easier to set up on the machine. But what you would want to do is you'd want to lay the flag down like this in the machine and then 0 to this bottom corner. So I'll show you how to do that right now with this piece. Alright, so this blue part is 14 7/8 by 10.5. Alright, so to scale this up, what we need to do is we need to open up a new file in Carveco. So what I would recommend is opening this from your desktop because then it will leave the other file open. So once this is open, we can create a new model, which is 14 7/8, so 14.875 by 10.5. So once that new model is created, we can go back in the other model and then copy this set of stars into the new sized model. So paste that in there and it will be small like that. And then just scale that up so it fits in there. And then center that in the model. And then you can stretch these a little bit. And then just make sure nothing gets too warped. It shouldn't get too warped. Just make sure that's in the center. And then once that's all centered like that, you can do the same thing with the V-bit carving. Still limit that. So I'm actually going to do a roughing pass on this one as well. So 60-degree V-bit. And then the 1/8 inch down cut for the roughing. And then this is also 0.75 inches thick. So we'll calculate that now. And then we can simulate all tool paths. And then you can see right now that if we reset this, we can see that the 1/8 inch will get all of this in here, and then the V-bit will come back and clean that up. Alright, so when saving this, I would recommend saving the 1/8 inch downcut roughing in one file. So we'll name this large roughing. So then you want to save that in one file, and then what you want to do is you want to remove that and then put the V-bit file, and you can see about this little tool right there, and then just say large finishing. So that way when you load it in the machine, it will know that it's two separate things, and then you're able to load up each tool and then run it as two different tool paths. So I got both of those saved, so now I'm going to go over and run the files. Alright, so I got all the files loaded up, so I'm going to first run the 1/8 inch roughing pass, and then I'll run the V-bit finishing pass. So I'll show you what the 1/8 inch roughing looks like afterwards, and then same with the V-bit. Alright, so that's what the roughing pass looks like. So now I'm going to load up the V-bit and do the finishing pass, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so the big union just finished carving out. So this turned out super nice. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. So I hope the tutorial on how to scale up the first one made sense and everything was clear. If it wasn't, please leave that down below, any comments, questions, or concerns. I'll try to answer those in the comments, and if I can't, I'll make a YouTube short or another video explaining myself to try to clear up any confusion. So I want to thank you all once again for watching the video on how I carved out a union on the American flag. So thank you once again. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.